All right, so today we're going to do a health kit system where when we pick up health that is a positive, it's going to increase our health and we're going to see that displayed. And if it happens to be a negative health item, it's going to reduce our health. So the first thing we need to do is create a text box that's going to display our health on the bottom left of the screen, and hop on over to Filebase. Just search health. We have health items there, or if you want potions, we've got a ton of those as well. We're going to use Medical Tools 03 for this situation though, and we're going to drop those into our game, and we're going to set all three of these onto this little yellow bench, and we're also going to make sure that we put a box collider on each one of them so that they're interactable with our interactable script. Next, we want to go ahead and create a new C# script for our player, and we're going to call this player stats SO, scriptable object. And this is where we're going to store our information for our health. So we need to create an asset menu at the top. This is going to be our player stats SO that we're going to save our health data into. And if we go to right click in our project, we can have a new player inventory called player stats SO. Then in here, we're going to go ahead and drop in a current health int that's public and a max health. And you'll see in our SO, our scriptable object, we now have current health and max health fields. We can do the same thing for mana, but this is the class that's going to store the data that we're going to pull from now. And this is going to be where we store our player health and information. Once that's done, we need to connect that to our player manager. So we're going to go ahead and serialize this field and place our player stats into our player manager. Now that these two are connected, we're also going to go ahead and connect to our health text, and we're going to make sure this works. So on start, we're going to say our health text is health plus the player stats current health, and we're going to set this to a toString. And now it should set our health to 20 versus what it was is 100. So we know our data works. Next, we need to create a function that updates our health value. So we're going to be passing in an int value to this, and our player stats, which are above, are going to equal the value that we pass in. And we want to clamp it as well. So we're going to use a mathf clamp. We're going to say our player stats can't go below 0 and they can't go over 100. And then once we do that, we want to update the string. And so let's just test it. If I were to do an update value at 20, it would be 70. If I ran it again, it would hit 100 and it would max out. So we know this works. Excellent. So next thing we want to do is we need to create an item interactable, and this is going to be our health item script. So we need to plug in for each health item, how much of a value is it going to affect, and then we're going to run a function. So we're just double checking to make sure we're able to click on each one of these objects and we're able to pick it up. Then inside this function, we're going to say our player manager health value. What are we going to pass in? That health value. So in each one of these objects in this field, we're going to add in, negative 20, 50, 30. And as we go to each one of these, you're going to see that we're going to add 50 based on the item that we picked up, or we're going to subtract 20, or we're going to add another 30. So these work. Now we just need to fine tune this a little bit. We need to add a little audio whenever we pick one up, and we need to get rid of the object after we pick it up, because that makes no sense if we leave it there. So if we do this, it should function perfectly. I'm down to 40, I'm back up to 90. This is going to put me to 120. And finally, once you've done that, you can also add a check to see if the player is currently less than 0 or equal to 0, you're dead. And we would run a death function at that point. But that's how we do health systems. New to coding? Feel like those tutorials are speaking an alien language? Yeah, we've been there. That's why we built GameDev HQ, a place where you can actually learn by building. Our monthly membership gives you access to 900 plus hours of hands-on training from 2D to 3D, VR, AR, first-person and third-person games. Plus, you get access to 12,000 assets and daily check-ins, one-on-one tech support, and live workshops 6 days a week where we cover the stuff you want to learn. We're not just developers, we're gamers too, and we love helping people turn that first line of code into something special. Come hang out with us and let's build something together.